Good afternoon. Our previous speakers, and I thank them for that, spoke about chocolate. We're going to do that too. We're going to keep in that spirit. Quick question. So except my colleagues who are here, who knows Milliken? Few hands? No hands? Yeah, I see. Yeah, indeed. So those who know Milliken know that we're going to speak about clarified polypropylene. Now, those who don't know Milliken, for them, a small introduction. We are 7,000 people. We operate in 70 locations, 15 countries, and we bring more than 11,000 products to market. Quite a bit. So our tagline is, you touch our product minimum 50 times a day. 50 times a day. You see all the applications here on the slide. We're not going to go through them, but we are never in the headlines, but we're always in the picture. That's what we like to say. Now, when we talk about clarified polypropylene and enhancing the circularity of plastic materials, how can we do that? What we typically do is we look at the value chain, we try and identify the partners, we go down to the brand owner, and we try to motivate them to be a stakeholder in our projects. We try to do it with as many stakeholders as we can together. To develop, for example, monomaterial solutions, you heard already about that. Another example is enhancing the properties of recycled polypropylene, PCR polypropylene. Maybe trying to use more recycled polypropylene in existing or new applications, or increasing the amount of recycled polypropylene in a certain application. We're going to speak today specifically about lightweighting, which has also a big environmental impact, and so on and so on. These are examples of typical projects that we at Milliken work on within the umbrella of polypropylene. Now, when we think about rigid plastics, rigid packaging and transparency, first of all, we think about glass. Excellent material, a bit heavy, but very nice, and we like it. We think about polyester, good recycling chain, very good material, not to be put in the microwave, a little bit iffy there, indeed. We talk about polystyrene. Polystyrene, very nice, crystal clear, maybe not compatible with every recycling stream in every country, even in Europe. And then there is also polypropylene that we can, in fact, add to this series of materials. Clarified polypropylene, with the advances that there have been in additives for clarification of polypropylene, has carved out a space in these rigid, high-clarity materials. Now, why would you consider polypropylene when we look back at the previous slide with these different materials? It is, in fact, polypropylene has a unique marriage of properties that are very interesting and easy to get. It's easy to recycle, polypropylene. A lot of polypropylene is recycled. It's tough, so not so fragile as, for example, polystyrene can be. Lightweight, we think about glass, we think about other materials too. If you look at the density of the different materials that we mentioned, you can see that polypropylene has the lowest density. So that all brings advantages, and there are more. Heat resistant, put it in a microwave, it works, no problem. It also offers a lot of design flexibility. When you think about intermaterial replacement, going to polypropylene, you can also immediately think about redoing the packaging, redoing the design. And it has excellent clarity. And I brought a box. It was a giveaway we had at Kunststoffen. I like it very much. I have one at home. And I invite you later on to have a look at it. It looks beautiful. It can be I can say it's almost as clear as glass. With the current clarifying technology, with our Miller technology, you can get this really a very, very nice looks. So that is not the only thing. And we talked about these physical properties and the handling of polypropylene, but polypropylene has also a lot of advantages in the total use of it, the system cost, as we would say. And you have all these physical properties, but then you have also the economics part of it. And then you have the environmental impact on top. And all of that you get together with a polypropylene-based solution. So polypropylene can wins frequently on total value. And we can help you, we help the brand owners, to discover that along the way. How do we do that? The first clarifier came out on the market, we launched it, 1978. More than 45 years of experience. Designing parts, thinking about polypropylene, resin structure, working with polypropylene producers. So brand owners, we always invite to involve us very early on in the process. When the idea comes up of we need to redo this packaging solution, we have a new product, or it needs to be more sustainable, better circularity, recyclable. At the moment that the idea comes up, we like to get the call to partner. And then we can help. We do not sell polypropylene, we have no stake in that at all, but we can help to select the right polypropylene resin that works very well with our clarifier solution and get a formulation that works from mechanical, economics, environmental point of view. So that is what we ask the audience. That's a message that I want to send in your direction. I don't know if you're brand owners or in another capacity, but it's involve us from the start. Wherever you are in the value chain, we can help. You can benefit from our experience. It comes free of charge, kind of. So an example of us doing that, and so I was very thankful that the previous talk was about chocolate. We're going to continue speaking about chocolate. We're Belgians. We could speak about beer, but I didn't have an example for the beer. So I was forced to go into the chocolate direction. And by the way, we have some chocolates in the back for when you leave later on to keep you a little bit longer here when you take that chocolate and maybe speak with us. So we're talking about a chocolate box. We had a customer, chocolate brand, coming to us and say, look, we have this polystyrene chocolate box. Unfortunately, for our environmental goals, this is not a sustainable solution. We need to advance that. How can we do that? Okay, we say, let's try polypropylene. Let's try if we can do that. And so we switched, indeed, this box of polystyrene, not so recyclable, to polypropylene, top and bottom, using our Millet clarifier and selecting the right set of resins that they can choose from. It worked very well. In the partnership, we've done a lot of compounding in-house for us. We have these tools to do that. A lot of trying different concepts until they came to a point that the material was really nice and clear and had some visual, let's say, attractiveness for the customer. Because what they were concerned about is that their product gets the brand loyalty from the visibility. If it's cloudy behind something, it doesn't reflect quality for their audience. So they wanted to have this clarity, but with better sustainability. And that we could do with this solution, with a solution that you see here and also on the back. And they got extra benefits. Now, I need to say immediately, polystyrene is not polypropylene. It's not, we're going to switch resins, we're going to injection mold it, and we have something. That is not the case. We all know that, and that's why we want to be involved as early as possible, that we can look at these things like design. Down-gauging, because polypropylene is tough, you can down-gauge, you can save material. And really the optimal design for the mechanical properties, for the safety of the content during the transportation, for its preservation. So polystyrene is not polypropylene, and that's why use our experience, use us to give you the best solution. 42% lighter weight. Can you imagine what that means? I mean, think about it. We think immediately economic, that's how we are, but environmental value, that is really great. And that change did not take so much time. 42% less plastic with a new design of the box. You can take a photo. Should I move out of the picture? So 7% less breakage. That we didn't know of. That came on top. So when we said earlier on the system cost, the properties, the economics, the sustainability, the environmental impact, here you see examples of that. And we realized that several times in different applications too. It's a hazard, huh? Yeah. Thank you. So to conclude on the first part of the talk, where can clarified polypropylene deliver the most value? We know that thickness and polypropylene clarity is a factor. The thicker you go, the more difficult it's going to be. That's why the part redesign is important. We need designs open to downgauging, thin, transparent parts, and flexibility in part design, because you can do beautiful things with that bring out the best in the polypropylene, the nice look, the color, a fresh tint, that is all possible. So these are the best projects to work on together. And I think over the years, certainly over the last years, we've built up a reputation for the realization that we did in intermaterial replacement to an excellent level of clarity in polypropylene parts. We've done that. And now my colleague Sven is going to explain how we take that to the next level in clarity.
Thanks, Philippe. Building on this, Milliken has a long history since 1970s in clarifiers for polypropylene. So in the next few minutes, I will talk about our new generation. So we launched already 4 generations. The last one was in 2008. And now this year, we are launching the 5th generation. This is called Milliken ClearX 9000. So have you seen on the parts, it's put already a high standard, the current clarifier, which is called Milliken NX 8000. But with Milliken ClearX 9000, what can you expect? Higher clarity, so for more premium looking packaging. Better stability, it will less bloom, less migration. If you put it in the dishwasher, it will look still better. And it's also designed for circularity and fully compatible with recycling stream. So on this slide, you see a side-by-side comparison. So on the left side, you see a stack of parts made of the current technology which is now today in the market. On the right side, you see Milliken ClearX 9000, what will be commercially available soon. So we put it against a black background. So if you look through the parts, you will see that the black become more grays. This means more milkiness, haze. So switching from the old clarifier to the new one, you see that the haze drops and expressed in numbers above 6 to below 4. So we will set a new standard in clarity. Let's look to the extraction profile. Typically, if you put polypropylene in the dishwasher, it becomes cloudy. So we did migration testing with the new clarifier. So we did testing according to the FDA, and we used olive oil as a food stimulant. Why olive oil? Olive oil is hydrophobic. Polypropylene is also hydrophobic. So it's the most aggressive food stimulant for polypropylene. So you see here a chart, normalized chart with the current clarifier and our new clarifier, Milliken ClearX 9000. You see a drop of 70 times less migration. So when we design additives at Milliken, we take always circularity into mind. So Milat ClearX 9000, Milat NX 8000, the current clarifier, is fully compatible with the recycling stream. And if you look to the website of Recyclas, it's fully compatible with the guidelines of Recyclas. With this new clarifier, we take it a step further, like we did in the migration, as we did in the clarity, we take it also in the circularity step further. So it has a better compatibility with more recycled polypropylene streams. So it keeps better the transparency. So with this new clarifier, if we summarize it, so Clear PP with the new clarifier has taken a step further. So it's a lightweight alternative for glass or other materials with premium looking aesthetics. And it combines all the benefits of polypropylene. It means flexibility in design, toughness, recyclability. So all this is possible with our new clarifier, Milat ClearX 9000. So thank you for your attention, and we would like to continue our discussion. Please visit our booth in Hall 10, booth C18. Thank you.
Thank you, first of all, for these interesting presentations. Are there questions from your side to these two gentlemen so far? Not yet, so let me ask you a question. I asked myself, at what stage of a packaging project should a customer engage Milliken to get the best results?
The key word is as early on. It's important that, for example, a marketing team, when they look at redesigning a package or bringing out a new product, that at least they contact us. We're talking about one of the polymeric solutions, of course, so we're not talking about aluminum or copper, or even from cardboard to polypropylene, why not, and for a good reason. But within these polymeric materials, that they tell us upfront, look, this is what we think about, because it allows us to already come up with a few concepts that maybe they have thought about, but maybe they haven't thought about, and it will enlarge the possibility of idea generation at the start. If they come to us a little bit later and they say, yeah, we want to do this, and it's got to be like that, and it's too narrow, we can still work with it, but you may miss out on very important economic and environmental advantages.
Okay, thank you. Maybe a question to you. I don't know who's the right person to answer, but I ask myself, what's the minimum wall thickness you can achieve with the Clarified PP while still maintaining the structural integrity?
If you compare it with polystyrene, you need a certain thickness, but with polypropylene, we have seen that 0.5 millimeter is a very good thickness. It also helps with the transparency, but playing with the design, you can make certain parts which are not important for the clarity, you make it a little bit thicker, and the areas that are important for the clarity, you make a little bit thinner. So that's how you overcome.
And if we may add, Sven, this box was how thick at the start in polystyrene?
1.5.
1.5.
Okay.
Look at it. And today about 0.7?
Yeah, this range, yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Questions from your side? Yes, please, just a moment. My colleague will bring you a micro.
Hello. Yeah, hi. I'm Naik from India. I work in Procter & Gamble and packaging development. So you said with this additive, you can reduce the wall thickness. So will there be any change in the mold, or without mold change, we can just add and reduce the weight?
Because every polymer, so polypropylene is a semi-crystalline material, it shrinks more than polystyrene. So you need anyway to have the same dimension in another mold. So you need a new mold.
New mold, okay.
Yes, that is best. The expectations are always to use the existing mold, but in fact, through our experience, we've seen that that doesn't really work.
But at least can we start with some, not like 40% or something, like 10% weight reduction without mold change?
So you have to take the density into account. Then you see already, if you look to the density into account, you see it drops from 1 to 0.9, 0.8. So in this range, 10-15% weight reduction only by the density. So, but then I recommend use a mold in polystyrene would have a thickness of 1.2, the thinnest mold you have. Then you get an idea about the transparency.
Okay.
Yeah. And think about polypropylene is a semi-crystalline material. It will shrink.
Yeah.
Polystyrene, you don't. You have the thermal coefficient, but
Exactly.
that's all. So these are things for it not to get blocked in the mold during the injection process. Things to think about, and we can advise you for that. That's why we're here.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So if you still have questions to these two gentlemen, or if you want to have a more one-to-one conversation, I invite you to our speakers corner here to the left, and maybe if you still have a few minutes and some chocolate, then let's meet in the speakers corner. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you.